Mic check 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Hello, good morning, everyone. Just give me a minute. I forgot to turn on the light and open the window for better lighting. Just give me a minute. I'll be back. Okay, that's better. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, based on wherever you are. Right, and it's 29th August, and in a couple of days in Pune, it is Ganesh Chaturthi, and yeah, I mean, it's been quite celebratory in Pune over the last 1 week, and a lot of surprising turn of events as well at my workplace. I'll keep you guys posted. Now, what are we going to talk about today? I know I said I'll do a live stream on Saturday and Sunday, but I couldn't. I apologize for that. So we'll continue from where we left off on Friday. Right. Now, what we talked about on Friday was what is a design sprint and what do you do on the first day of the design sprint, right? Which is typically Mondays, and they even call it design sprint Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on. So, for those, before I jump into the topic itself, for those who are new to this, let me slightly adjust to this. Just give me a minute. Yeah, I think this is better because I wanted a wider angle so you can see my hand gestures because I was watching NKBHD's video. He is a huge inspiration for me to make these videos, right? And I love his style. And I believe, my style is kind of closer to it. Like he has a lot of hand gesture here and there. But with these seats, I have these armrests. If you can see, okay, I don't think you can see that. Wait, try and show. Yeah, so they are kind of restricting, right? And I'm trying to keep them as down as possible and see. Because I always feel I express myself better when I have hand gestures and my hands are a little free and my expressions are also much better. Right, and of course, I am talking to myself, looking at my own video right now, which used to be weird. Now I think it's a lot better. So, anyway, what I was going to say is for those who are new to this live stream, this is a live stream where I talk about different UX topics that I've come across, in my career from different sources, right? It could be someone that I worked with, it could be, and many of them are from the books that I have read, and I also very frequently show the books from which I am taking those topics and even go through those books right during the live stream. And the ultimate goal, at least this was the case, right? When I started it, I'm rethinking the goal for these live streams. So the goal was to curate content for shorter videos, right? And then maybe do 1 or 2 videos, short form videos, at the end of the week. But I have miserably failed. I was able to make only one short video. but it's okay. I think now I'll just do this live stream consistently and not worry about the short form videos for now. Right now, this is great. So yeah, like this will be a lot of blabbering, a lot of talking, a lot of digressing. So we mentally prepared for all of those things. But we will cover all the topics that we do cover in depth, right? So yeah, that's something that I wanted to set as an expectation for those who are new to this. Right, I'm really liking my hand gestures now. This is great. Okay, so now today we are going to talk about what is sprint design sprint day two or design sprint Tuesday, and we'll also quickly talk about why smaller problems are not a good fit for design sprints. This is something that I wanted to cover in the last episode itself, but I couldn't. I'm sorry. So yeah, we'll cover that, and then we'll go into design sprint Tuesday. Now, why small problems are not a good fit for design sprints? All right, let me switch to my other view where I do screen share. All right, so okay. So I was going through this when a design sprint isn't the answer. Basically, it means when you shouldn't host a design sprint. Right. Now, the number one reason why you shouldn't do or when you shouldn't do a design sprint is when the problem is small, and the reason being you will be spending, if not a whole week, a considerable amount of hours, right, on this. And in my last episode, we recommended, or I recommended, about spending about 3 to 4 hours at least a day, and doing at least 3 days of the sprint, and you can have up to 7 participants. So now, even if we take the minimum number of people, which I would put at 5 people, because otherwise it doesn't make sense. So 5 into, let's say, 3 into 3, which is 45. Sorry, 9. Yeah, which is 45, right? 3 into 3 into 5. 45 hours, which is a lot of time, and it's almost one person's productivity. Actually, it's more than one person's productivity for an entire week. Now, you don't want to spend that amount of time on a small problem that may be solved by just one person in a few hours, right? Instead of that person spending a whole week, right? And it makes sense for big problems. For example, you want to figure out the strategy for your next quarter or the second half or the first half of the year. And that typically takes, at least in my experience, a few weeks time, if not maybe even a whole month's time. And again, multiple stakeholders are involved, especially when you are a very, very small team and if you don't have a solid I'm sorry, I'm just going back to this. When you are a small team, I think I'll go back to my full screen view. When you are a small team and you don't have a very clear process in place to decide what are the items to pick. Now, this is great, right? So the reason why you shouldn't do small problems, right? And they also list a couple of problems which I am not sure if I agree with. Maybe it is valid, maybe it is not valid. So when an effective prototype can't be produced in a day, right? What this means is on sprint day 4 or on Thursday, you start creating prototypes and you complete your prototypes. And then on day 5, which is sprint day Friday, you start with, I'm sorry, I'm blanking out. Yeah, you start testing those prototypes with your customers. Right. So now it's very important for the prototype to be covering a good amount of flow, right? Or and highly recommended to for it to cover an entire flow for the solution or for the problem that you are addressing, because otherwise you may not be able to get a good feedback from your customers. Right. So that's, I think that's a valid point. But the reason why I think that you may not run into this problem is the approach to these prototypes in design sprint is very quick and dirty, right? You don't worry about the fidelity of the prototype. You just worry about, okay, am I showing the information necessary in some form, right? It doesn't matter how you are putting together or presenting the information on the screen. It's just that, okay, for someone to complete a task, for someone for to solve a problem that exists in the product, what is it that we have to do different, and what is the again, going back to, because I tend to do a very content-driven approach to designs. I go back to putting all the information that is necessary to complete a task or goal. That's all it boils down to, right? And I don't see a scenario where you or your team would be stuck, even if you don't have a designer. It's all rectangles and circles, right? And then presenting it to your customers. So yeah, this is a very rare problem that you would face when it isn't a product design problem. Again, I don't agree. I actually disagree with this because design sprint can be for any problem. For example, you have a sales issue, right, or a conversion issue on your in your physical store, right, or you have a retention problem, right? For, let's say, you run a coffee shop or a cafe and you don't see repeating customers, right? And that's not really a product design problem, it's more of an experience problem, or it's not a product design problem, right? It's more of a service problem, maybe. We don't know, right? And when I read the term product design problem, I'm thinking about both only digital products and even physical products. But in this case, it's a combination of multiple things. So I think even if it is not a product design problem, you can still get a lot of value from running a design sprint. Right. So I'm doing fake gestures with my hands at this point. So please bear with me. When there isn't enough information up front. Yeah, I think this is true. You have to do a lot of homework as the host or the champion of the design sprint because there is a whole checklist which we will go through maybe once we cover design sprint day 5. So you have an idea of what all activities happen during the 5 days, and then how it all ties back to the preparation to the design sprint, right? So yeah, you need to collect all those things, do all those preparations before your design sprint starts. Otherwise, it'll not be very fruitful or productive, and it'll also demotivate the participants a lot because they've all committed to spend again a full 5 days or 3 to 4 hours every day for 3 to 4 days. Right. So then, selling design sprint the second time, the third time will be very difficult for you. Right. And also as a company, it's a strategic loss, is what I feel. So, so yeah, and then I'll share this link. Let me go ahead and save this right away. I think I'm going to create a section called links, and I'm going to sorry, keep saving them so I can finally start posting them. Okay, yeah, it was 96. It was huge. I'm gonna copy this as well so I know what is the heading. Cool. Yeah, I'm tempted to just create a component of these two. Okay, let me create it, and then I'll maybe do regular, but I will do a bigger size. Yes, I think this is good. Strange how these things can turn out. Links. Cool. Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. I think I'll just duplicate them from now on and just change the text for future links. Awesome. So now coming back to Sprint Tuesday, right? What are the things that you do on Sprint Tuesday? Now, before we go to Sprint Tuesday, let me cover what we do, or give you guys a quick recap of what we do on a Sprint Monday. Right? Let me open this Sprint Monday link, and this is a great series of articles describing each day, including preparation. Right, so let me copy this and this. This is what I love about components. It's just awesome. All right, so now on Sprint Monday, a recap of the activities that you would do. First, set a long-term goal and, of course, define the problem that you are trying to address, and then make a map of all the journeys, right, that is related to the problem that you are solving or the long-term goal that you want to achieve. And when we say long-term goals, typically it is 2 years or at least 6 to 9 months in the future, right? Not less than that. And do not pick again small problems which can be solved by maybe one or two people by spending a few hours, because then you would essentially be wasting everyone's time in a longer design sprint format. Right. Now make a map. This is about, again, going back to the flows that are related to the problem that you are solving, and of course, ask subject matter experts, your, maybe pro users, or even some of your, regular users, and ask them to fill the gaps in the flow if, because there is always a chance of missing pieces in the flow that you are putting together as a design sprint team. And yeah, this is again the same thing. And then you go through this exercise called How Might We. Now, how might we is a single sentence statement that basically says how might we improve after sales experience? How might we improve availability of parts if it's a car shop, right? How might we improve the turnaround time for a service, and so on. Basically, it's a list of things that as a team, you guys come up with and start putting together these improvements that you have to make in order to address the problem statement, right? Or in order to get to the goal. Now, and then you try to organize these how might we notes, and then you vote on these how might we notes. I'll link the last episode's video. We talk about it in detail. How do you organize? How do you vote, etc. And then, based on the voting, you pick up a target. Now, again, this is based on votes from the participants of the design sprint and also the decider, who's a very key role. And again, if you watch the last episode, you'll get to know what is a decider role and why is it very important to carefully pick a decider for your design sprint. All right, so that's the recap on Sprint Monday. I don't know, for some reason I'm really excited. I think it's because for the first time I'm just doing away with these shackles, if I can call them that, and able to do very freely, hand gestures, which is awesome. And if it is bothering you guys, what is that small thing that is there hanging here? That's one of my laptop bags, all right? So you can put a full picture on it. All right, finally, let's talk about Sprint Tuesday. Now, you have your problem statement, you have your long-term goal, you have your target picked from the How Might We's, you have your journey mapped. Pretty much, it's a solid map with almost no gaps. And now, what do you do on Tuesday? And this is an exercise you can even take back on Monday home, and then come back on Tuesday, right? With this part of the exercise being done at home. Now, lightning demos are nothing but solutions that you think are excellent, in your personal opinion, and you pick up maybe two or three of them, and then each person spends 3 minutes to explain each of those ideas. And it can be any solution, right? It can be something from a completely different domain, from a completely different product, from a completely unrelated product to your product, or it can be a solution of your competition or something inside your own app itself. Right? It's basically to give everyone an idea about must start massaging everyone's brains to get there to the idea for your own problem. And the first step is to start looking at great solutions, as they say here. Right. And then this takes a while, even though it's, let's say, it says 3 minutes, right? It takes some time if you are doing it on day two and not taking this as a homework. And it would take maybe time box it to 25 minutes or 30 minutes, not more than that. And then let's say you come up with, okay, there are 7 people in the design sprint, and each person comes up with three solutions that they think are excellent, and that is totally 21 solutions. First, let's just round it down to 20 solutions, right? And even if it takes 3 minutes and it doesn't take 3 minutes, it always goes beyond 3 minutes. It is 1 hour. 20 into 3 is 60 minutes, right? At least 1 hour, and typically it'll last for 1 hour 15 minutes or 1 hour 30 minutes. And it's very important, who is the host, to keep a very tight um, timeline or a timer, and be very firm about when the 3 minute ends, and maybe keep 30 seconds as extra time for them to complete the description of the solution. And of course, set upfront expectation that you will be rude. I'm kidding. Set an upfront expectation that this is how you will conduct it, and ask them to respect everyone's time. And yeah, in this, what happens, or at least from the few design sprints that I have run, is a debate, right? Someone thinks this is a great idea, someone thinks this is not a great idea. It doesn't really matter, right? The objective here is to observe these great solutions and take away what you think is you can take away, or maybe in some of them there is no takeaway, and that's completely fine. Maybe for someone else there is a takeaway, right? So that's the purpose. What can go wrong during these lightning demos, and someone hijacks the entire conversation, and what could have ended in 60 or 90 minutes takes about 2.5 hours, which is what you should avoid. Now, divide or swarm. Now, this is interesting, right? They are not, I think, on purpose talking about it in detail. If you read the book, The Design Sprint, these are just a couple of ways to approach it. One is you have a target, and maybe the target itself is so huge, you have to divide it into smaller parts and give it to people. Um, Maybe individually, let's say you divide it into 7 different parts, and each part is being worked upon by one individual, or maybe one individual works on up to two parts of it, right? And you pick so that you don't leave out any of the parts there. And then you reconvene, right? Sorry. Um, the next approach, the second approach is, okay, the problem is possibly can be addressed by a single person. I'm sorry. I just had breakfast and I don't know, I'm kidding. These weird, I'm gonna say burps. Yeah. So now, yeah, divide as swarm, right? So now in that case, maybe one person can do it, or maybe small groups, right? A group of two people maybe can do it, or maybe you divide the design sprint team into three and three, and the host, as a host, you just stay out of it, and then those two teams work on solutions, right? Those are a couple of approaches that you can do in terms of coming up with solutions. Now, what you do to come up with solution itself, right? That's the four-step process. Now, first is taking notes. Again, this can be done both during the lightning demos, and actually, I think you should do it during lightning demos, where you note down key ideas or ideas you think that you can take away or can inspire solutions for the problem that you are trying to solve or the goal that you want to get to. Right. So that is the first step. All right. And then maybe we should call this a five-step process. Now, the second step, which is the first step here, notes, right? Silently walk around the room. And again, maybe during the lightning demo, you probably missed something. So you just, and it says walk around because this used to happen in a meeting room. Now, if you are doing it virtually, just go through all the different lightning demos that were presented and take a relook at them and see, if there are any other ideas that you want to just make a note of and probably inspires you. You think it'll inspire you towards the solution, right? Now, the second one is ideas. This is jot down very on a high level, jot down these ideas, and you can do this along with step three, which is crazy eights, right? And crazy eights is very interesting. And I was mind blown the first time I did it. So yeah, then you just try to very roughly sketch out parts of the ideas or the full solution that you are maybe not in a lot of detail, right? And get the objective here is getting out as many ideas as you can, right? As an individual or as a group. Now the next step is crazy eights. So fold a paper in half and then fold it again one more time in half. Now you will be left with, I think, four squares. Now, again, if you fold it again the third time, you will be left with not squares, eight sections in an A4 paper or a letter paper, depending on what you get, or maybe even a huge chart. The idea is fold it once, you got two sections, fold it once more, you got four sections, and fold it once more, you got eight sections, right? So the reason why it is called crazy eights is you take 1 minute, exactly 1 minute, and even if you have not completed the sketch in that 1 minute, it's completely fine. You move on to the next section and start jotting down either a continuation of what you did in the first section or a completely new idea or a different part of the solution for your problem statement. And you can do it even twice or thrice also, but I wouldn't go beyond twice because you tend to run out of ideas even after the first maybe 10 or 12 sketches, right? And by the time you hit 16, you would have probably run out of ideas by then to draw in these crazy eights, right? And one important thing that I would suggest whoever is going to be the host for this is do a mock exercise of these crazy eights before you start the design sprint with the participants so they understand how this works, because this is a very fast concept. If people are lost in between and they don't know how to do this, even when they start, it can lead to a waste of time and demotivation and things like that. So prepare your participants before the design sprint starts and do a mock exercise of these crazy eights. Right, and maybe give feedback after the mock exercise on what they could have done differently. And of course, you will not be judging the results, but you will be judging the approach to the results. Right. So that's crazy eights, and then solution sketch again. You take the ideas that you put down and the crazy eights that you put down and try to come up with a more holistic uh, picture of one or two solutions as a group or as an individual. Right. And you take about 30 to 60 minutes to complete this journey. Right. So now the key objective for the solution sketch is it must be self-explanatory, all right, without any explanation from you, anyone who is looking at it, right, who is going to complete a task using that solution or complete a goal using that solution, should be able to follow that, the solution that you are coming up with, and should be able to complete the task, right? Should be able to achieve the goal that they are trying to achieve. Zero explanation must be needed, right? And that's very, very important, because when you test ultimately your solutions on day five, that's how it will be run also. You just give this prototype that you have come up with to your users and ask them to complete a certain task or complete a certain goal, right, using that prototype. And another important reason why it should be is when you ultimately release the solutions, you cannot be you will not be sitting next to your users to explain the solution, right? And that's why it's very, very important for this solution sketch to be absolutely self-explanatory, right? Now, this is the end of day two, Design Tuesday, and I have to run for another house errand. And yeah, we were supposed to start at 9:55. It's 9:55 now. I think today was great, and even I felt, for some reason, very energetic. I think I should do this with hand gestures every day from tomorrow, because even when I tried these uh, video production, right, YouTube video production a couple of years ago. Let me switch back to the full screen camera. I always felt, very, very free and very natural when I used my hand gestures. So yeah, this is fantastic, and I hope that was helpful. What we talked about today. Tomorrow, we talk about design sprint Wednesday, and if possible, we'll try to cover Thursday also. Right. And until then, see you guys and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.